How's it going, internet? I hope you're having a lovely day. It's that time again. It's time to get into some animation, time to get that imagination all revved up, get into some creativity, and it's time to get inspired. And today's inspiration comes from the wonderful, amazing, creative mind of Claire Wendling. And if you're not familiar with her work, check right over here. I really feel like she is one of the highest praises I guess I could try and give is almost a female, softer side version of the skill and talent and ability of Frazetta. If you take a look at some of these cats that she drew, they're just phenomenal. Look at the muscle and the weight and the structure and the clarity in each of these poses. Great silhouettes, great anatomy, great sense of weight, a really nice sense of the muscle versus the bone, and the way that there's twists in each one of those legs and delay, reaching each and every finger, and movement is just so cleanly and clearly put together. I love her work. I think she's a real illustrative genius, and I really urge you guys to check out her stuff. A really fun imagination as well. I really like this one. I just like the kind of shocked pose there. Really great expression captured, but still kept it in the sense of animal anatomy rather than making it too humanized. What's that? Anthropomorphic, I believe is the word. But look at that, man. The way that she renders her lights and her shadows with her shading and stuff is very deceptively simple. It takes so much skill and experience to be able to just do what she does with so few lines. Really gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. Yeah. It's intense. I love these characters. Really vivid imagination. So please, 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 if you haven't, if you don't usually take the time out to check out one of these people that I talk about being an inspiration for the day, I really urge you to check out her stuff. Gorgeous, gorgeous, and from all the things that I could see about her, seems like a very lovely person as well. But I did want to share a quick little quote that I was able to find from an interview that she did, and she said, "You have to go out and collect happy accidents yourself." And I think that kind of goes to you have to put in the time, you have to put in the effort, you have to sit in front of your clarinet and play for a million hours if you want to be good at the clarinet. You know, there's no quick cheat or tips or I mean, there's always things that you can do that can help and you can learn, but in the end, you know, it's the amount of time that you spend that you start learning what's your you know, your quick version of how to get around this problem, or what's your workaround for this, or how does that muscle memory work so that you can start learning new things and incorporate that stuff into your work each and every time. And it's really about, you know, the amount of hours and the amount of time that you spend so that you can easily problem solve this stuff by recalling on how you've done it before. I love that. I love the little happy accidents part, because a lot of times too, if you're illustrating or animating or drawing or playing music or something, you might hit the wrong note, but it might spark something in you that goes, you know what, it is the wrong note there, but what if I could take that note here, or just tweak it a little bit so I could incorporate that note, or anything like that, where you get those things that you didn't plan on but became something that really helped enhance your work as well. And being able to notice when that occurs, or notice when you did it wrong and you need to correct it as well, and get rid of that and grow from that. So let's go ahead and get into some animation. I could look at her work all day. Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. This is the Doom rig. It's a free rig you can grab over at the Steam community. It's part of the Dota 2 collection of rigs. I'll throw a link in the description below. And if you're not familiar with what we'll be doing for the rest of the video, I go off and I find a rig that I've never used before. It's a free resource for you guys to play around with as well. And we kind of go from there. A little bit of over the shoulder, just hang out with me while I animate, a little bit of talking through the process. But most of all, the main goal of doing these videos each and every day is to hopefully encourage you guys and inspire you to go out and create your own amazing, imaginative, creative content each and every day, to take another step in your journey towards mastering whatever it is that you're passionate about. Find whatever it is that you're passionate about, and go out there and just create. So let's go ahead and get into some animation here. I'm gonna do a cycle, I think, for today, just because the last couple of days have been a little bit longer, but I was thinking for this one, since we can kind of do what I love to always reminisce on, which is the Mike Gasaway hold the coffee cup method of acting. We have a prop here, so let's use it to influence our posing for sure. And if you're not familiar with that, I'm sure I've talked about it a million times with a quick little elevator pitch on that, which, like I said, Mike Gasaway, famous for Jimmy Neutron, also is doing a Kickstarter for a horror movie right now, and a great mentor and really influential person in my early creative understanding of this world. Talked about if you kind of are stuck with the acting beat, or you want to have some different posing, what you can do is give your character a prop, and just by having a prop in their hand, they're going to have different hand poses, so it automatically makes you think differently there than having to come up with, you know, 2 different hand poses. It gives you just different things and different ways to interact, how you can pose and talk. You can point with the phone, you can not point, like it just mixes things up a little bit. So simply by adding a prop can sometimes get you through when you're not sure about like a posing challenge or an acting beat or something like that. So, and it can also push you to work differently than you might have otherwise as well. So I'm gonna try and treat this kind of like a baseball bat. So hold it over the shoulder and get him to do that here. I want to create a more interesting storytelling pose here as we go. We're gonna have to tweak some stuff here as well, but we'll get there. Let's go ahead and push that shoulder down and over. Push that chest down here. Push the hip back. Rotate that a little bit. This arm is a little bit shorter than I guess I anticipated, so let's see if we can. Maybe we'll just go over this one and we'll bring the other one, because I was thinking we'd hold it with this one over, but maybe it's going to be more of a clear silhouette if we just go this one straight up and over, and then one. I want to zero that out here. And rotate it back, over. Okay, I'll just universally do that. It seems to be a little bit better. How are the fingers? Do not have any finger controllers here. It doesn't even look like the geometry is really finished on some of these fingers. Oh well. Unfortunately, got to deal with what we got. Let's rotate that back, over, flip it so it's more this way. Back. I want to get a little bit of bend in that. And let's take that sword, push it forward and over, rotate it up a little bit, bring that shoulder back, just trying to clear up that silhouette as much as we can here. Maybe we'll flatten this over a little bit more, just so that we're not intersecting so much. And let's look at this hand, see if we can't get that up and over here. Yeah, the arms just might be kind of too small for getting some clarity in that. Keep pushing it, but I might have to rethink how we do that. Alright, let's also rotate this over. We want to bring that in, rotate that over here. Bring this over a little more, forward a little bit. And it's nice with these Dota rigs is the parenting is kind of already set up for you, which is nice. Might be too pushed as well. Bring these guys down here. Still feels like it needs to be over a little bit more. Is there like an actual armor controller here? Let's see. I think this is just for those kind of chains there. Let's not do as much with that hand and do more on the sword. Is it gonna work or is it gonna look too broken? Gotta kind of work within this hand pose. We can't really tweak it too much, so that kind of is a bummer. But like I said, there's no real finger controllers on this hand. And I think we should rotate it so it's a little more forward here. Yeah, these arms are just kind of short. It's kind of hard to do. Let's see. I wonder if we can turn off some of the mesh. Like if we could do that mesh here. Let's go window animation or window outliner here. And let's see if maybe we can hide some of the mesh. Here. Helmet, weapon, wings, tail, bracer, belt, shoulders. Let's see if we can add those to another layer and turn those off. It might help us a little bit, just get a little better silhouette. It's not as cool. I like it better with the shoulders for sure turned on, but if we can get a little better silhouette, get a little better movement in the arm, I think that will help us in the long run. Here, so let's see if we can bring that over here, down a little bit. Keep going with the main pose, and we'll worry more about that in a little bit here. Bring that down a little bit lower. Let's get the neck. Definitely want to bring this on. Let's see about the rotation here. Yeah, there's just, we need some sort of rotate in that shoulder. Push it forward. Is that going to help us? It's kind of bleeding in there though. Let's see. Starting to feel a little better. Is there nothing to get the elbow out? There's got to be an elbow pivot, right? Okay. So where is it here? This one. Let's go out a little bit there, see if that'll help our silhouette a little bit more. Get in there. The sword, and we'll rotate it in so it's more like that. I think we could have it. It's like a piece of armor or something, right? It'll be intersecting. Okay. Starting to feel like some sort of silhouette we could use. And bring that down a little bit more. Rotate it in Z a little bit. Bring this one down. I still feel like I should probably rotate to favor this a little bit more. wanted it to go over here, but it's just too short. It's not gonna. It's gonna barely reach. Let's try one more time, see if we can get it. But I think it's really gonna not help us as much as we want. But we'll see. Keep tweaking it, see if we can get something that works. I'm pretty sure once we get there, it's like hyperextended. Maybe if we just shoot from one angle here, it might help. Let's see. Let's tweak the rotation here. Bring that down a little bit more. We could move it, right? Breaking a lot of geometry here, but let's keep going for now. See if we can find something that'll work for us. We might be able to get this done. A lot of cheats in this pose, though. But let's see. We'll see if we can get it. Take that. Take this up and over there. Bring this one down a little bit. Gonna have to try and work fast to keep our time limit with how much extra time we're putting into this first pose, but I think it'll be pretty straightforward from here, hopefully. This one, bring that over. Pinky. Tip of it down there. This one down and over there. Alright. It's not perfect. I definitely want to focus on it from this angle. I think this angle was a little more successful. Those wings might get a little hard to read in silhouette, but I think we got something that's kind of workable. So let's go ahead and start. Let's go and tilt that tail. I don't want it so much swung to that side. Maybe push the wings a little more. Rotate it out and over. Try to get something similar on this side. Alright. Feels okay now. So let's go ahead and save our file. We are using Autodesk Maya 2014 for today's video. For more information on that and all the stuff we've talked about so far, check out all the links in the description below. And let's start to actually get into some animation here. So let's go ahead and grab everything. Make sure we just have nerve curves, nerve surfaces, and our polygon selected. We'll go to frame 0 and we'll set our first key. I was thinking for this one I want it to be a little bit slower, so we'll work on 14s here. But let's flick back and forth between those. 5, 42, and that's going to be where you need to go to, what, 49 frames for this one? 56 frames, in order to cycle correctly. So let's see. Alright, and let's look at the other foot. Push that back to about there. So we're getting fairly equivalent spacing between the two steps. Let's see. Alright, we got to save our file here. And we got those locked in, so let's go ahead and just grab them both and just hit S on the keyboard one more time to make sure that we're keying all our attributes there. And let's get those passing positions built in. So raise it up here, put it down there. Now I do do want these to be heavy steps too, so I'll probably tweak this a little bit more, but just to get a rough info in here, let's just build those passing positions in for right now. Alright, and then let's grab the hip. Let's go up here, down there, up here, down there. This would be probably one of those times where it would be easier to use FK arms, but this rig only has IK, so we'll stick with that. But the next thing is we get to make sure that we can lock in our posing is into the right place that we want it. And let's look at our animation editor's graph editor. Look at our translate Y's here and balance those out a little bit better so we don't have such big movements versus small movements, but kind of not exactly equal, but a good balance throughout here. And let's see if we like that, if we want a little more up or a little more down. I think we could exaggerate that about 10% more up and down there. Alright, now let's look at the feet. I really want these steps to be heavy, so I'm going to go 2 frames before the contact and really lift them up, pop them down, lift them up, and pop them down. So let's see. Steps feel a little slow, so maybe I'll hold them for a couple of frames. So we would have like 2 frames there, and then 2 frames there where we just hold, and 2 frames there, and 2 frames there. So let's see. Alright, and let's look at those translate Y's. Let's balance them out between the sides and also kind of even them out a little bit more. Because like here you wouldn't have that same kind of feel to it. So I want to try and get them somewhere probably in the middle there, so it's not too high and not too low. It's something like that. So let's see. Alright, and we'll come back to the feet in a little bit, but let's start looking at the hips here. Let's do a little bit of rotate Y there. And again, we're going to always kind of favor this foot, but we still want to get a little bit of twist and movement throughout. So let's look at those rotate Y's and try to keep that, probably bring it back even more. We don't need a lot of that, but just a little bit so we get some movement in that hip. Okay, and let's look at the chest. If I can find that controller, we hit it in there pretty well. I've got that there. And then we're going to want to offset it there, push it forward there, and back here, and back to where we were. Alright, let's balance that out a little bit better. I think we could exaggerate it a little bit more, but I definitely wanted to get some of those extremes out of there. So we could probably exaggerate it a little bit more, just get a little more movement in there. Let's see. Now I think this foot might be too far forward compared to the other one. So let's take the translate Z here and just pull it back a little bit more. I felt like that step was going a little too far forward. Still feels a little bit more. And let's actually go ahead and push this one a little bit further forward itself. was too far. Got too big of a step from this side. And push that one forward a little bit more. Okay, and let's go ahead and do a little bit of side to side here, just a little bit. Back, and let's go and look at that. Try to balance that out a little bit more. And let's see how we're doing now. Okay, let's do a little bit of rotate Z. There, back here, and I'm sure we don't need that much, so let's scale it back some more. And again, this is going to be one of those times where we're really favoring the pose, so we're not going to have it balanced under and over the values here. We're going to favor this pose, but we still want to pepper in some of that movement, so we just want to kind of balance it off of this center line. Chest here. That way, this way, that way, and then back. And let's balance that out a little bit better. Something like that. Let's see. All right, let's start looking at this flipped again. We definitely want to lift it up. Down there. And get a nice slap there. Drag it up here. And then flatten it out there. Let's go to our mid position and let's drag it. Let's see how that feels. Alright, feels okay. Let's balance it out. Both sides, actually it's pretty close. Okay, let's go ahead and look at this side. So we're going to go ahead and drag it back here, lift it up there, and flatten it out there. And delete that key we have in there. Drag it back here, lift it up there, and we'll flatten it here. Let's see. Let's look at both sides and try and find a good balance there. I feel like one's a little more extreme than the other. Let's see. Okay, and then I think there's like a toe controller here, some sort of other controller. So let's see if we can manipulate that just to loosen things up as well. guess we could go 5 frames from there. Still want to keep the basic sense of weight there, but try and loosen it up a little bit more. See, it just feels a little bit looser than the other side. We don't want to slow it down or make it feel too easy. Set that. Try to get down there. Lift it up here. A flat arrow there. Hold it till 4. Try it back there. Lift it up here. And let's see how that feels. I feel like there might be a little too much translate Z here, so let's take the translate Z in the hips and cut it by about half. Alright, let's go ahead and save that. Now let's look at the tail. Let's see. Let's go with 7, it'll swing this way. And 21, we'll have it swing that way. 35, have it swing this way. 49, have it swing that way. And then go back. Alright. Maybe a little less overall movement. Let's see. And we'll go with this part. And I'll start with it over this way already. And we'll move it that way. This way. That way. And back in. Let's see. Maybe a little bit more in there. And let's look at the tips of the tail here. That should be swinging about like that. And over there. Over there. Over there. Back again. Yeah, this one should be about 2 frames later. So let's see. Keep that. Might go a little bit further back there. Let's see. Feels like we should have more movement here. Have it more of a kind of whipping action. Maybe a little bit less. Maybe a little bit more here. this down then. Alright, let's look at the tail again. And let's add a little bit of tilt to it here. Now let's do rotate X in there so it has a little bit of bounce. So we'll go down here, up here, down here, up there, down here, up there, down here, and up there. Alright, a little bit better. Let's balance that out a little bit more. I'm trying to get more of that figure 8 style movement or infinity symbol style. Okay, let's see. Let's look at this guy. We'll go up. Then we'll go down, up, down, up, down, up, and back down. Alright, that does not look so good, so let's clean that up a little bit better. Maybe do less of it here too. Feels a lot better. I think what we need to do is move it so that it starts at like 4, so it's different timing. And then we'll need to punch another one in at, what would that be, 53? So let's see. And then let's look at this one. We'll do some up and down here. So up, and down, up, and down, up, down, up, down, and back to where we were. Right, probably a little too much. Scale it back to about half. Then we'll look at the tip of the tail here too. And this one, let's go at 9, it'll go up, 16 down, 23 up, 30 down, 37 up, 44 down, 51 up, and then back again. Other way around. Invert it and minimize a bunch too. And let's see how we're doing. I feel like it should actually hit a little bit more. Let's see. Maybe a frame later. tail's pointing upward a little bit more. So maybe that would be a little rotate Y. A little bit of twist there. Maybe a little bit of rotate Y here as well. One more here. Let's curl it up a little bit more. Down a little bit. Up a little bit. So we don't get so much. Now here, I want that to be a little bit more like this, a little bit more. A little bit more like that. I think I might need to tone down this section a little bit more. It's getting a little too busy. Alright, now let's look at these little wing things here, see if we can do a little bit of up and down on those guys. So you'd want to go down a little there, so you drag and up. This is probably way too much. Like you want to scale it back. And then go back. Let's see. Alright, yeah, so let's do about half of that, and let's actually delay it one more frame. Make sure we kind of balance it out a little better here. Let's see how that feels. There we go. It feels better. I think I might start. A little bit higher up, just so that this 2-frame move isn't so much. And then let's grab the tops here, and then I think we'll go down a little bit there, up a little bit, down a little bit, up a little bit. Back, let's see. Then I think I might want to delay that one frame and cut it in half. Definitely take that original pose and push it a little bit higher there. So let's see that. Still, like, we can probably go about half that. At least 25% less. Alright, feels a little better. And let's look at these guys. Let's just move both of those together. We'll go up here. In there. Up there. In there. frame did I start these ones on? Is it 7? Sorry. Let's try and keep this timing. I think that's probably 2 frames different from the top, but I think I might need to invert the movement here. So let's look at that. We'll scale it all down because I know already it's too much movement overall. And let's see. Let's put it at 4. And maybe push it so it's a little more in the middle here. And then delay it a frame. And cut it still a little bit more. Let's see. Alright, and then that's like just at these bottom ones. Let's see. Still feel like these ones need to be out a little bit more. Something like that. Maybe I'll tone them down a little bit more. Need a little bit more than that. Right, now let's look at the hands. Do a little bit of down and up here. And then back into our okay. Obviously it's too much movement and not balanced enough, so cut it about 80% here. And we'll have to get in and really tweak some poses, and I think we'll do the sword on a little bit different timing as well as I think I'll take the second hand and delay that a frame. Let's take a look at it now. So let's take this one and we'll delay it a frame. And let's look at the sword itself. Actually, let's do a little bit of rotation here. Just a little bit, so you can get a little bit of movement there. And then back to where I started, and let's clean that up. Like I said, we don't need a lot of this, but just so there's a little bit of rotation and translation there. Still think that translate Y is way too much, so let's cut it even more. It's something you kind of just want to feel. I don't know that we really need to see that it's bouncing up and down, but just feel that it's dealing with the weight. Yeah, still feels too much. just a little bit. Back and forth between those. Let's go a long way here. We need to go a little bit back too. Add a little bit of rotation to this hand here. Again, this is probably too much, so I'll scale it back, but just so we can get a little bit of keep alive in that hand. Yeah, too much. So let's cut that down and bounce it out a little bit better. Alright, now let's see. Let's see now. Alright, that gives us a little bit of room to do something in the fingers here. So we'll grab all of those. Maybe we'll go a couple of frames there just so we can get the grip a little bit tighter. Just a little bit of movement. And I'll take that, push that one over, that one, that 32, 39, 46, 53, and then back again. Let's actually go about there, bring that, just so we don't get that initial posing variation. Okay, now let's look at the mids and the tips, and we'll do a little bit there as well. I haven't saved our file for a little while, so let's make sure we do that. And let's start looking at those guys. take all of the tips and we'll delay them a frame as well. Let's see how that feels. I think I want to take this one and just cut it by about 2 frames from the extremes here. Is that going to be the rotate? I think it is. Just feels like it does a little bit of lift off of the hilt of the sword there. Let's see. There we go. Alright, and let's look at the head here. Could do a little bit of drag there. Just a little bit of movement on the head and shoulder portion so it doesn't feel so stiff. And then back again. Okay, and let's clean that up a little bit more. Felt a little dead towards the end. Maybe a little bit too much in the beginning. So I'll try to find a good balance there. One other thing I might try doing, we'll go into save our file, but I think we could do a little bit of translate Z, just a teeny bit. It does kind of feel like it goes in and out a little bit too much there. So let's see if we can kind of balance that out a little bit. Again, I don't need hardly any of this, but just a little bit might help us. If we don't like it, we can get rid of it, but it did feel like it's kind of jutting out a little bit, so it's kind of offsetting that movement, and that's just from the twist of the shoulder that we have in there that's really causing that forward and back too. So let's see if that helps. Yeah, it has less of this forward, even though we're going up and down, we're still a little like that. So I think that'll work. Alright, we could definitely play around with this for another hour, but I think we're probably hitting around our goal time. So let's take a look back at where we started. We're looking at the beautiful work of Claire Wendling, and she said, you have to go out and collect happy accidents yourself. I think that's totally, completely true. You have to put in the time. You have to learn the craft. It's not about a cheap fix or the right tool. It's about putting the hours in so that your brain has this muscle memory in both your brain and the way that you think, and also in the way that you're, whatever skill it is that you're working on, you get so that you can almost hit this, the Zen level that you're not having to think about, well, what is my thought right now, and what is my reaction, and how do I do that reaction? But it's all really fluid. And also, you have to go out and live. You have to go out and learn and grow and talk to people and figure out, things that you like that you learn from other people and things that you dislike, and all of that kind of experiences that's going to help inform your work. I think Claire Wendling is a wonderful artist. I love her stuff. Please go out and check it out. I don't think she gets nearly enough credit for how amazing her stuff is. And I think that'll wrap it up for today. So thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you guys had fun. Maybe you learned something. you didn't know before, or learned a way that you don't like working, or just at least thought about making something imaginative and using your creativity, and that you go out and do something about it each and every day. Take another step. I love you guys lots. Thanks for all the likes and subscribes, and we will see you for some more animation tomorrow.